Okay, so let's go ahead and do the other armor part, which is going to be the biggest part of the armor for the arm, for the lower arm. So we have this here, and I remember we made a copy of this and put it here and scaled this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also scale this up so we're kind of a little bit more accurate. Okay, and for this one, I'm just going to remove the simple deform. So we use this as a reference a lot better. Shift A and let's create a plane. And we can go ahead and rotate that 90 degrees. And go move it up and scale it. And using this as a reference, I want to make sure that the frame is roughly about the same size. It could be a little bigger because this is going to be a bigger armor. But we could always adjust it later if it's too big. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the tab key and selecting the vertices, and we're just going to move this and rotate. I'm just going to go and move the vertices like that. Go to edge and extrude this out. Rotate. Scale this down. Move it up a bit. Okay, something like that. And extrude it. And good. Extrude again. And extrude again. And rotate a bit. So we have something like this. I'm going to adjust this a bit because this is not going to work out. I'm going to further adjust out later, but actually let's do it now. I'm going to tweak. So just kind of round this out and thinking about the shape and the thickness of this. We want to keep it a little bit, yeah, we want to keep it like consistent, okay? Okay, now extrude, rotate, rotate. Okay, and going to kind of set this up. Maybe something like this. And extrude this out. And extrude. And this one is going to be extruded. There you go. There you go. It's a little too thick now, the wood frame here, but you could always adjust it. There's no problem. Probably even a little thicker. Yeah, I do want it to be a little thicker. This is a bigger armor, so I think it will work better if it's a little thicker than the other parts of the armor. Move this down. Okay, and thinking of the overall shape and how it compares to this. So I think this should be twice as big as this one. So I'm gonna make it a tad bit larger, longer. And this one could be moved up a tad bit, up. Maybe down a bit. And down a bit. This could be curved a little bit, so I'm gonna go add one right here and then move it. Add another one right there and just gonna move it. Right, so maybe something like that. Wanna go and scale this in the X direction and gonna move it in the middle. Alright, something like that. Maybe move this, and this one could kind of round it out. Okay, so I want to add a little bit of shape, a little sharpness there. I think this will look better if it's a little sharper. Could move this and make it a little thicker. Yeah, I want to select these and make sure that they are scaled and making sure that it's a little bit straightened out. Trying to keep it a little consistent. Alright. Okay, so now I'm going to select the vertex here, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then let's go set origin to 3D cursor, and let's add a mirror. And I'm going to merge, I'm going to put number 1 there, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that, hit the tab key. Okay, now I'm going to go select the edges in the inner, inside, so all around, selecting the edges. Press E to extrude, right click, and scale. Move it back. Okay, so something like that. Maybe not too much. Yeah, something like that would be good. Scale it back, something like this. Yeah, something like that would be great. And I also want to go ahead and extrude again and scale it just a tad bit so we got a nice border there. So that will also give us, when we add like a subdivision surface, it's not going to melt down so much around here by adding that nice extra edge there, another extrusion. Okay, so now it's time to, going to select this and this. We gotta fill up the hole, so press F to bridge there. And for this one, we could go ahead and extrude and rotate a bit. Okay, and we could add another one right here, another one right here. And we could bridge these, and for this one we could select these and extrude it, and then just gonna go ahead and bridge this here. Same with this one, just extrude that, bridge this to this. And for this one, we could add another one right here and another one right here. And we could go ahead and bridge those. There you go. Yeah, that'll be great. So we don't really need the faces here. Delete the faces. Shift Z. Okay, so we could go select the edges here, and we have to actually we could mirror this, right? Because we added the edge loops here, and now we gotta do some mirroring. Going to mirror, and of course the merge, I'm gonna set it to 1, so merge in the middle, and I'm gonna apply again, hit the tab key. Okay, I'm gonna double check here. I think we got a little issue here. Yeah, a little problem there. Okay, I'm gonna undo this here. Okay, wait, I think this, what is this here? Oh, okay, I thought this is a okay, so this is kind of bothering me, the empty object, so I'm just going to actually just remove this. I don't need this. Alright, so I thought that there was an issue with the mirror because of that empty, but it was actually the empty that's giving me the illusion that there was a problem with the mirror, but I think it was actually fine. I'm gonna go and apply the mirror. Alright, and if I go double check everything, yep, everything's good there. Alright, and I'm gonna go to my edge, select the edges here, press E, and just bring that out, and then just gonna scale it up. Alright, so we got that shape going. What I'm gonna move this up here. Okay. And maybe I could select this and kind of move it down. And this here and this here, gonna move that down. Okay, for this one, I could go to my scales, scale the, oh, I accidentally extruded the edges. I'm gonna undo that. I accidentally extruded out of an edge here. Okay, make sure make sure you don't accidentally extrude out edges. It's gonna be a problem. Alright, so I'm gonna go select vertex here, vertex there, and here, and here. I'm gonna use the scale tool and scale in the X direction. Alright, something like that, and maybe also here and here and here. Scale it up a bit. Move it up. Okay, trying to get the right shape going. Okay, and I'm gonna go from the side view. I'm gonna Shift Z. I'm gonna move this here. And I think I wanna move this, it's a little too thick, something like that. I think I could keep it a little thicker, it's fine, because it is a larger part of the armor, so I could have a little bit of thicker frame, which would work fine for me. Okay, and I'm gonna select the vertex here, and I'm gonna go Shift S, cursor to selected, and set the origin to 3D cursor, and add mirror, and set this in the Z. And so we have both on both sides, and we could crank up the merge a little bit and hit apply. Okay, great. And of course we need to kind of flatten this out, so I'm just gonna go select the edges all around, dissolve those edges, and also here dissolve those edges. Now we could go here to the side, Shift Z, go to vertex, select the vertices here, and go to scale and scale in Z direction. Something like that, and kind of move it this way. Okay. And if we want to further flatten this out, what we could also do is go to faces, go to lasso tool, we could select the faces all around here. Okay, select the faces at the back, and we could go to the scale tool and scale in the Z direction, so that will flatten out even further the surface. Alright, so it's better. Okay, now we go ahead and of course add the subdivision surface. It's going to melt down. We want to retain those edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to go add some supporting edges. And also here and here. Let's not forget this one and this one. So anywhere around the edges that you don't want to melt down, you want to add those. And also here. Okay. This is gonna make it a hard edge. You see how the edge loops are really close together around here? I actually want it to be round, so I don't want any supporting edges around the round part here. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work. So I'm gonna go to edge, right click and press X, collapse edges faces. Go here and here, press X, collapse edges faces. And also here, we don't want any triangles on the edges. So we could keep them on the surfaces around here, and go ahead, collapse edges surface. So I think the triangle around this area is not going to be bad on the surface, but yeah, you want to keep those triangles away from the frame as much as possible. Otherwise, we're going to see some pinching going on. We also need to add another edge loop right here, edge loop right here, and right here, and right here. Probably here on the surface. Okay, and I want to see how it looks like when I add the subdivision. Okay, so very nice. Of course, we gotta delete half of the faces here. I'm gonna remove the subdivision. Shift Z and select the faces. I'm gonna make sure that I am on select box, select the faces here. Zoom in. Press X and delete the faces. And we need to go to edge, select the edge here in the middle. Shift S, cursor to selected, and set origin to geometry to 3D cursor. Okay. Yes, let's set the origin to 3D cursor. There you go. And add mirror. And let's crank this up a bit, 2.1, and hit apply. Okay, good. And let's always double check, make sure the middle part is definitely connected. Okay, great. Now, we could add the subdivision surface, and we could crank up the level of viewport to 2. Okay, and we could hit apply, right click, and shade smooth. Great. Actually, before I apply it, I'm going to, let me undo that. I feel like it needs to be a little longer. I'm gonna undo this here. Alright, I'm gonna remove the subdivision. Hit the tab key. Alright, Shift Z. I think I wanna select the vertices here, and I wanna move it up a tad bit. Okay, something like that. So it's just a little bit longer. I feel like it's too short. Yeah, I think something like that. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Yeah, I think this would be good enough. I think this should fit perfectly. And I'm gonna add the subdivision surface to, there you go. And hit apply. And I'm gonna add a simple deform, set it to bend, set it to Z, Shift A, and let's create an empty plane axis, and let's rename that right away. I'm gonna call this one empty armor 3. Okay, I'm gonna select geometry, go here, empty armor 3. Here you go. And let's not forget to parent this. So I'm gonna select this one, and then this, it has to be in that order. And then let's go to parent object. Great. And make sure that they're both selected, and we're gonna make a copy, Shift D, select, yeah. And I'm just gonna move it. And rotate this that way. And then rotate this way. Oh. Careful. Rotate. And I'm gonna go top. There you go. Go to the side and just gonna move this. Gonna rotate this here. Gonna have it fit in. Okay, so we could always go to the angle and kind of bend it a little bit further so it looks like it's fitting in a little better. Something like that. Okay, I'm gonna move this. Rotate a bit. Rotate. And gonna move it down. Rotate a bit. So we don't really want it sinking in onto the armor. Something like that. Gonna move this down and rotate in this direction. Move this. Okay, so this right here is just trying to fit in. It could be a little bit an tedious process, but yeah, we gotta try to make it as accurate as possible. And just gonna move that up. Alright. Okay, so something like that. We're almost done with the armor part. We could kind of see what we have for our render. Okay, great. Now, what we need to do is we need to create the other part of the armor, which is going to be the last part of the armor is going to be this right here. But we're going to be doing that in the next video, all right? And of course, there's more things to do with the armor. We got to add the horns and these details right there. And we'll be doing that in the next few videos.